Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you.
You don't always have to get dressed up and troop to Heinz Hall in downtown Pittsburgh to hear great symphonic music. The Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra is now taking the show on the road to bars and restaurants in up-and-coming neighborhoods around town. We caught up with them recently at the Livermore in East Liberty, a new restaurant and bar just across the street from the landmark Presbyterian Church. It's part of Playin' At. Instead of waiting for audiences to arrive at Heinz Hall, the Symphony is reaching out to find them in some of this city's hottest neighborhoods. Suzanne Perino is Senior Vice President of Education and Strategic Implementation. Gloria Moe is Director of Musician and Community Engagement Programs. And welcome. Good to have you both here.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, so this is kind of, I was so intrigued when I heard about Playin' At. I figured I have to go check this out and have all of you on the show to talk about it. Not the sort of venue you necessarily expect to see great string musicians from the Pittsburgh Symphony performing it. So what's this all about? How did this come about?
So it's a little different. We're trying some different things this year. We are in an experimentation year. Within our strategic plan, we've outlined connecting with the community as a priority, a bigger priority as we move forward. So we're experimenting and playing with smaller ensembles in different venues throughout the region and kind of highlighting some different categories of audiences we'd like to reach that maybe in the past we haven't been able to reach as well.
Well, so tell me a little bit about Playin' At. What are these about? How do they come about?
So there are a total of 3 events. They're all on Tuesdays night. The first one is in Sanctuary in Lawrenceville, and the second one is in Livermore, the one that you went visit in East Liberty, and the last one was on March 3rd at Wiggle Whiskey in the north side.
Okay, so the 3 really hot neighborhoods, a really different kind of a crowd. What kind of sense did you get of how well this was working and the vibe in the room?
We did one in April early on, just like as a little testing with Sanctuary, and the owners reach out to us and say, hey, you know, do you want to try something different, like a classical happy hour? And then we thought about it. Sure, you know, why not? Like, it's a really cool neighborhood. The owners and the staff, they're really great supporters of arts and music, and so we set up a mini happy hour, like a classical happy hour, and it ran pretty well. And so that we got to thinking, like, well, maybe we can reach out to all these new neighborhoods. And so the first one, as the one at Sanctuary, went really well, even better than the first time that we tried it. It was completely crowded with people. And then the second one at Livermore is just a first time that we're trying a venue as well. So there's a lot of unknowns, but everyone's just like had fun. Different groups of musicians, they select different pieces that they would like to play, and it was just like everyone's having a good time meeting musicians.
It was fun, and it was a sellout too. Now, a small venue, it's not like selling out Heinz Hall.
Right.
So clearly there's an interest in this kind of music and these kinds of venues. I find it a little bit, it's great, but a little bit surprising.
It's great, and there's a lot of interest from what we've found. And the people in these situations, in these bars and in these smaller community centers, like meeting the musicians. They like seeing a smaller ensemble, hearing the artistry, the amazing artistry of these musicians, and then talking to them afterwards and interacting.
Did you see that? I had to leave at the Livermore before they were done playing, but I mean, was there a lot of that mixing with the musicians and the folks in the crowd? Does that seem to be a big part of what the experience is in these smaller venues?
Yeah, certainly. I've seen the audience, like people just come up and talk to the musicians at the venue, because, you know, it's not on stage, there's not the Heinz Hall. It just, you don't get scared about approaching people in tux. I actually have to remind the musicians, like, just dress casually. And so it really breaks down the wall, and people like connect with each other, and they were able to go up and say, hey, I saw you playing that pops concert, playing that classical concert, so they can relate more to the musicians that way. And we certainly invite them back to Heinz Hall to see the orchestra concert.
You hope they're going to come down. How about the musicians? I mean, it's not the greatest venue to have the incredible music they're creating fully appreciated, but they're cool with that? They're down with this approach?
They're pretty down with this approach, wouldn't you say, Gloria?
We are very fortunate. We work with great world-class musicians in Pittsburgh, but they are very down-to-earth. They are very connected with the community. I think that's very unique of Pittsburgh. They go to schools and do visits, like they go into the communities, they go into the libraries and play, they go to the hospitals and play. So when we approach them with like So we have this new idea. We want to, reach out to different audiences. Would you be willing to try this with us together? And sure enough, that we got enough buy-in, and then we just start putting it together. And it's a little risky at the beginning. You don't know what it is. It's not the usual concert stage at Heinz Hall, but when everyone's just like try to do something and has a goal to it. So I think it's really.
Why not? You expect we're going to see more of this kind of outreach, these kinds of opportunities to enjoy the symphony?
Yes, absolutely. And we've got a few things under our hat for the upcoming summer. And we've got a specific community week that we're going to do actually August 31st through September 4th, where we're going to have smaller ensembles out in the community in a number of different areas and venues to try to reach some of these people that may have a curiosity about the orchestra, but maybe didn't have that opportunity to interact so closely.
Really exciting. It's a lot of fun. Congratulations. Glad to see it working. Suzanne Perino and Gloria Moe from the Pittsburgh Symphony. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
In many ways, the Pittsburgh Symphony itself pioneered the revitalization of one city neighborhood, downtown Pittsburgh. It was the renovation of Heinz Hall in the early 70s that set in motion a chain of events that's led now to national acclaim for the neighborhood. A few thoughts on our region's latest top ranking when our region's business returns. Stay with us.